telling us, this is not good. And we said we had to sit back and think about it and say, well, you are right. So it's a it's a consultative process where we talk to them and they talk to us, to our radio programs, to our free phone lines that we have, and through the operators themselves. Their customer care centers are listening posts for us in terms of what is good and what is bad and how we can better the system. So basically, that is what is happening, and it's mainly being pushed by the consumers, you have to say.
Okay. Well, Jamila, let's talk about the challenges you guys have encountered as regards this SIM card registration. Because, I mean, the history of GSM companies, as I said earlier, started, with Gamcell 2001. And then 2011, we are talking about 4 GSM companies. And it's so competitive. SIM card used to be $500. Now the cheapest is $10. Almost everyone. It came to a point where, well, GSM companies were dishing SIM cards like that. And now, operators or consumers have now been asked to come and register. Well, almost every compound in the country has you have a mobile. At least we have a lot of people, thousands of people with mobiles, even though they don't take it as luxury. Now, let's discuss these challenges. It's not going to be easy to have everyone on board.
Yeah, we did realize that, but in consultation with different stakeholders, the immigration department with the IEC recently, which has just conducted the just concluded elections, they have registered like over 700,000 voters. When we spoke to them, they have explained to us much of the details that are not surfacing on the actual voters registration card, but they are in their database, which has enough details about individuals. So we gave, in consultation with them and the immigration, not many people have these biometric ID cards. So when we spoke to IEC and they have confirmed all the information that they have in their database, we thought that it is necessary in the absence of a biometric ID card, people can use their voters card to register, because this has enough information whereby there is a need to make any clarification about any complaint or any issues that might arise. The person can be tracked and the information can be provided. And in this case, it has been very successful. There are different task forces which comprises of the IEC team and the immigration, who will be on the ground to make verifications of all these identifications that will be presented at the time of registration with the GSM companies. So most of the challenges have been, taken care of, and definitely we thought it would be very successful if it has been followed in the proper procedures.
Okay. Well, let's go to our legal minded person here, that is Ms. Aidambub. What about if other people ask and say, what's going to happen to my data? Because this is about my ID card, number, my personal details. And this is very important, the address, and where you live actually, and your alternative lines, because that's what is in the form. Yeah. What answer do you have for such queries or comments?
Well, that's a really important question, and that's something that we've really been working on continuously at PURA. What you're referring to is basically the protection of the data of the subscribers.
Exactly.
And the first thing, before I even go into what the law provides for, is to remember that, as Solo said, we have been registering. Gamtel has been doing it since the 80s. Gamcell started it when they first started in 2001. To buy a dongle from any of the ISPs or any of the GSM operators, they have to register it. They have to take your name, your passport details, etc., in case you lose it or there's any other issue, for them to be able to contact you. Even postpaid subscribers, all GSM operators, they're postpaid subscribers, their SIM cards are registered because they need to know where to send you your bill. So this has been happening, and there's never been an issue about my data has been leaked without my permission or any sort of security implications with regards to the information that's been submitted. So that just shows really the extent to which the operators are aware of their legal obligations when it comes to data protection. But in addition to that, just in 2009, we passed an act, which was the Information and Communications Act, 2009. That law provides for the SIM card registration, so that's actually mandated by law. It's not just a policy or just a decision. The law provides that SIM cards must be registered by all GSM operators or any IC operator. And the same law also provides for the protection of the data of those GSM operators. Apart from providing for the fact that the systems under which the data is put has to be a secure system that cannot be breached, that cannot be hacked into. And we have our technical teams, they've been auditing those systems to make sure that they're strong enough. And we also have the code of conduct from the Consumer Affairs Department, which provides that if you get data from your subscriber, you cannot share that data to any third party without the written consent of the subscriber. And that's something that we're enforcing, and that's something that GSM operators are very aware of, and they're very strong about protecting. And that's why, as Jamilatu mentioned, we have the task force with IEC and immigration, because they also have their own data that they're supposed to protect. And that's why we ask, for example, the IEC to verify the voters' cards information, because that's their data that they're legally mandated to protect. We've asked immigration to verify the ID cards, the passports, driver's license, because that's their data. So we're trying to make sure that everybody who has an area of responsibility and is mandated by law to protect data is able to perform their job function so that there's no breach of any sort. And in our sensitization, we've been making it very clear to everyone that their data is protected. It's not going to be shared with anyone. And if you remember, with GSM operators, when you want your own data for your own call records. When you go to them, they refer you to the Inspector General of Police before you come back. And that's your own records. So there's protecting it to the point that they're actually protecting your own data from you. So it's something that they take very seriously, and we also take very seriously, because we're all affected. My data is in there, as is Solo's, as is yours, as is Jamila's. And we have the law, and we also have the provisions as well we're enforcing.
Well, okay, we have few minutes to go before for the end of this first episode. The subsequent episode of obviously will be in the local language for the benefit of our local audience. But before we go, few seconds left. What constitutes a successful SIM card registration project?
To have everybody register.
Yes.
Basically, to cut it short, everybody should go and register. If you have your ID card, your voter's card, please go to your service providers, and they should be able to register your details. When we say register, and when you talk about data, let's not confuse it. All we're asking you is for your name, your date of birth, and your ID number. Basically, that's the data we're talking about. So it's nothing sensitive in terms of going really deep into your biodata or your background. That's all we're asking for. So we're urging everybody, and we know people are doing it voluntarily. We're urging more of you to go and do it, so that the majority of us that use this thing for our own personal use, we get to use it for exactly that.
Well, that was Solo Sima, Director of Consumer Affairs, Ida Mbub, Deputy Director Legal Licensing and Enforcement, and Mrs. Jamilatu Seydifai from Consumer Affairs Manager from the Public Utility Regulatory Authority on SIM card registration. Well, our subsequent edition will be in the local language. That was all that we have for you, and thank you for watching. Have a pleasant evening. My name is Ibrahim Abalde.
Thank you.